I am Tina Simulan, and I am part of the iFAMS training team. And welcome to this month's session on iFAMS Desktop. So I will be going over the basic system navigation, so pretty much the look and feel of iFAMS. The PowerPoint slides and recordings of the presentation will be posted on VA FMBT Plus page. So currently we have everyone on mute. If you do have a question, there is a chat option at the bottom of the screen, and my colleague Rachel here will keep track of any questions. So first, I will go through the PowerPoint slides and provide any details, and then afterwards, I will step into the system. I will be going over how to log into iFAMS, navigation tools, which includes your breadcrumbs and menu bar, and any quick access links, which includes favorites, bookmarks, and shortcuts. Okay, so logging on to iFAMS. All right, so you can use Internet Explorer, Chrome, or Firefox, but we highly recommend using Internet Explorer. So for training purposes, you will receive a student ID and password, but once you go live, you actually will have access through your PIV or single sign-on. Okay, so navigation tools here. So once you log on, this will be your home page, which is your inbox, and this will be a list of all the tasks that needs any attention. So for instance, if there needs to be a correction or approval. Unfortunately, this does not update automatically, so you will have to click on the refresh button, which is right here. Okay, so simplifying the inbox here. You have your menu bar to the left here, which you can also switch over to the top if you would like. And then here you have your search fields, so for instance, your task, items, task status, description, and so on. And here to the right, you'll see all your task lists here. And at the top, we have what we call the banner. And your search fields may differ depending on which page you are on. I will get into more detail of what is the menu bar, what is a banner, and so on. All right, so your home page has your inbox, but on the left of it, you have a links page. So this links page is where you are able to see your set bookmarks and shortcuts to certain queries or documents. Okay, so navigation, we highly recommend to avoid any temptation of clicking any of your browser buttons, for instance, the X or the back button. If you so happen to click on the back button, the way to retrieve your page would be to hit refresh and retry. And once you hit those buttons, you'll see a warning here at the bottom of the screen. Again, please avoid hitting any of your browser buttons. Okay, so breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs is a navigation trail of your current activity. This displays the steps you took to get where you are currently. Each item in the breadcrumbs, which you see here in the blue, is a link to that screen or function. So the breadcrumbs should be used in lieu of the back button. Okay, so using the banner. All right, as I mentioned earlier, a menu bar here. So you actually will only see what you're authorized to have access to. So the main ones would be your transactions here, queries, reference data, and utilities. The combo here is the system administration, which very few users have access to. I'll definitely go into more detail on that as well. You have your quick search at the top here, which is also known as your search forms and documents. So let's say you wanted to look for a particular document and you knew that document number offhand, you can definitely put that document number in there and it will populate that form or document for you. All right, so the right of your user ID, you will see a link strip. So that is that blue circle with the arrow down. And that actually you will have access to anything of support or going back to your inbox or the right way to sign out.
You are now joining the meeting.
So you don't want to click on that X button. You want to make sure you actually sign up the right way by clicking this link strip here. All right, as I just mentioned, you do not want to click on the X button. You will like to sign out or log out this way through your link strip. And again, right to the right of your user ID, you'll see that sign out option. If you happen to click on the X button and are, let's say, creating a transaction or so, and you don't save it or so, you will actually be locked out of that document. All right, so your menu bar here, it is a primary navigation tool for all users here. You have transactions, which are grouped by modules or subsystems. And this is where you're able to create or correct forms and documents. So for instance, if you wanted to create an obligation or your payment authorization, this is where you'll go. And this is where users will often use this particular page here. Then you have your queries, which is a magnifying glass here. And this is real-time data. This is where you can actually query your budget query or your vendor query. Next, you have your reference, which here is this book here. And that is a way to access reference data tables used to establish the values and set system processing options. So here you can look up different fund codes, vendor codes, your budget object codes, or maybe data elements of the accounting classification structure. And then here your cogwheel here, and this is where you can access system administration and security settings. And only a select few will have access to this menu. Here you have your wrench, which is utilities, and this is where you can access iFAMS reports or dashed out functions. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, you have your link strip here, which is the right of your user ID. Again, some of these link strip items may change depending on once we go live. So you have your support here, and that actually is your Momentum Online Help. Your inbox, that is your home page. So again, any task that you have currently waiting for attention. You have settings where you can actually change your preferences, the layout of the menu bar. You know, in the beginning it shows you on the left side, but you also have the option to put that menu bar at the top of the page, which I'll show you later on. Your site map here, that actually directs you to a secondary window. About provides information on the software. The Add Start page is where you can change a screen that will appear once you log into iFAMS. Your user extension configuration is actually where you can change a screen based on your preference. And here, the sign out or log out is the right way to log out of the system. Okay. So I mentioned earlier the site map. This is where it opens a secondary window where you're able to view a reference, a query of a document. So that is actually these two squares here to the left of your user ID. So it's a great way to actually open a second window if you wanted to, let's say, do additional tasks. So let's say, for example, you are entering a budget transaction. You're able to use a site map to open a second window to check your budget query. So let's say you wanted to look for a fund. That's actually where you can open up a second window, and that will be very handy. Another example would be if you are entering an order or an obligation. You can open up a second window, and let's say you forgot what commitment or request document it needs to refer to. You can definitely open up that second window and search for your commitment or your request. Okay, so with the sitemap, if you have a second window open, the right way to actually sign out is actually closing the window. So you know you're on your second window if the option to drop down under the link strip says close window, which we also call the child page. You know you are on your home page or your parent page if it says sign out. So if you do have multiple windows open, you definitely want to close out windows before getting back to your home page. All right, so the quick access links here. So the different types of data entry. You have your blue hyperlinks here, which is where you're able to search for field values. So anything that has a red asterisk, that indicates that it is a system required field. Your favorites here, which you can see is a star. I highly recommend saving any frequently used values. So for instance, it would be, let's say you know that you'll be using this particular vendor often. You would want to save that as a favorite, your vendor codes. If you know you'll be using a certain BOC or budget object code often, you would want to save that as well. If you know that you'll be using a particular document type often, creating a commitment or request, you would want to create that or set that as a favorite, your document type. So if you have an outline star, that indicates that you have not set any favorites. If you see your star filled in, that means that you have at least one favorite set. Your other option would be to manually enter in to the certain fields. Yes. All right, so setting your favorites here. So under search results on the search page, you would want to select that solid star. Again, I will be showing this in the system once I'm in. Another quick access link would be shortcuts. So this creates a link directly to a specific transaction or query. This actually minimizes the number of clicks, so I highly recommend saving shortcuts and bookmarks. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, favorites. To set, you must first search for the value you want, either to click on the blue underlined link or click on the favorite icon and then search. So here, the blue hyperlink or the favorite icon, which is a star. Again, I would recommend saving any vendor code favorites if you know you'll be using it often. So for instance, Staples or Citibank. All right, so your bookmarks. So this is a starting blank page. If you know you'll be, let's say, creating a commitment or obligation often, you would want to bookmark that page. So any frequently used pages you will be using, please definitely bookmark those pages. And I will show how to bookmark any pages very soon. All right, so bookmarking screen here. So what I recommend is bookmarking the form and document selection. So on the right of your breadcrumb path, you'll see a bookmark icon. So you know that it is bookmarked once you see the icon turning orange. And also, you'll see on the left of your user ID, you'll see the icon displayed on the banner, and the drop-down will show the different bookmarks you have saved. All right, just a refresher here, your quick access links. You have your bookmarks, which are frequently visited blank starting screens. You have your shortcuts, which are direct access to queries and transactions. So the shortcuts actually include data, and your bookmarks do not, so they're just blank screens. Your favorites are definitely saved data that you'll be using frequently. So provide easy access to select commonly used reference data values. Okay, I'm going to stop here real quick to see if there are any questions.
There were 2 questions, both of which I've posted answers to in the chat window, but in case you're not looking at it, one question was, is the support option in the link strip real-time/live chat? And the answer to that is no, it is not. The help that you can find in the link strip is generic help for the iFAMS system. So it is non-VA specific help. However, one really good thing about it is it will open up help specifically for the page that you are looking on. So you don't have to search for a topic if you're on a screen where you are creating a new obligation. It will bring you up to the help that's relevant for that screen. The other question was, is there a limit to how many additional windows one can open? And the answer to that is yes, there is. I believe it is 5. However, it is recommended to close your additional windows once you're done using them, because it's very easy to kind of get lost in what you're doing. And if you branch out to another window while you're entering in a new transaction and you don't finish that transaction from the screen that you started in, there can be some issues. So I hope that answers those questions. I believe Tina is now going to go into the system and do her demonstration for what we just showed you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Perfect. All right, so now I'm logged on into iFAMS using my user ID and password. Again, during Go Live, you'll have access to your PIV or single sign-on. So once you log on, this will be your home page, which is your inbox, and you'll see your task list here. You're able to sort your different tasks here. And also, if you wanted to just, let's say you had multiple tasks and you wanted to search for just one in particular, you can go ahead and narrow down that search here at the search field. Again, this page does not update automatically. You'll have to hit this refresh button right here. Okay, to the left of your inbox, you'll see this links page. And this is where your shortcuts and the bookmarks will be stored. All right, so let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the Form Document Selection page, which users will be using often. Okay, so up top here, you'll see your breadcrumbs, so that is a trail that took you to this page. And again here, this icon is your bookmark page, so I highly recommend bookmarking this page. So right now it's grayed out, but once I click on it, it should turn orange to let you know that it has been bookmarked. All right, perfectly, and it tells you as well. All right. So I am actually going to show you guys how to set favorites here. Again, anywhere that has a blue hyperlink, that's where you're able to search values. So I'm actually going to click on the document type. I am going to search for a particular document type to save. So let's say I know that I'll be creating orders or obligation often. I am going to go down to the document type category and narrow down my search to itemized order. I am going to search here, and here are our search results. And I know I will be using, let's say, the standard obligation, non-acquisitions obligation often. So I would want to click on this star here, and it definitely tells you here, add item A to your favorites. You'll click on it, and go back. I'll show you that it has been set to favorites under document type here. You'll see all the different types of document types I have favorited so far. So here is the standard obligation document. Again, highly recommend saving vendor codes, funds, your budget object codes. It'll be definitely less clicks for you. All right. So now I'm going to show you how to do a shortcut. So I am going to click on Queries, Budget Execution, Budget Query. So I'm going to search for a particular query here. So let's say right now I am going to show off NCA's partition as a partition, and then I will put 2019 here, and just search for right now, just very generic, just to show you guys how to save a shortcut. All right, so you go down and you'll see all the different results. So as of right now, just to show you guys how it's done, I'm going to click on this one here, and I will select it. Okay, so you have here your budget query details, and at the bottom of the screen, you'll see here Add Shortcut, and that's where you would want to click on that if you know that you'll be running this particular query often. And yes, if you do save budget queries as shortcut, they do actually have real-time data. All right, so it's here, action was successful. So to go back to make sure that it was saved, you can go back to here, that home page button here, the top left. You would go back to your links page, and here you'll see that I saved the form document selection page as my bookmark, which is orange here. And then you'll see that arrow to the left and right, that means it's a transaction. And then to the right of it, I saved a few queries. So you know it's a query because there's a magnifying glass. So easy access, so you don't have to keep clicking on, let's say, going back to form document selection, clicking on transaction, and then form document selection. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is go to the links page and just click on this icon here, this tile, and it should direct you to that page. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, so I mentioned earlier here, you'll have the menu bar. And once you hover over an icon, it actually just tells you what it is. So you have transactions, again, which I mentioned users will be using this often. You have your queries here. Your reference, so the reference data table. So if you wanted to look at, let's say, dimensions or so, and you wanted to look for a particular fund code, or if you wanted to look for a particular budget object code here, this is how you would search for it. Again, this cog here is a system admin, and this is where security will be stored. But again, only a few users will have access to this. Then here you have your wrench here, which is utilities, where you're able to access iFAMS reports. Okay. In here, as I mentioned earlier, if you have the exact document number, you can go ahead and search for that document number here. Here shows your bookmarks here. To the right of it is your sitemap, which opens a secondary window. Then here to the right of your user ID, you have your link strips, so your support, so your non-VA specific Momentum online help. Here you have your inbox, which directs you back to your inbox as well. And here I just want to show you settings, where you're able to move your menu bar to the top if you would like to. So under settings, you'll see here under menu, you're able to uncheck that box, and now your menu bar is at the top. And here, avatar, you're able to change your user ID. See here, right now I just have a picture, What if I wanted to change it to, let's say, coffee, because I need some coffee right about now. That actually will change once you hit save. All right, there's that image there. And then also another way to access bookmarks here or organizing it, it'll be under settings under bookmarks. So here, if you had multiple bookmarks and you wanted to change the layout, or let's say I also saved, let me just go ahead and actually show one here. Went to new, went to order, bookmark this page here, went back to bookmarks, and I wanted to organize how I wanted to see the ranking. So if I wanted new order to show up in front of form documents, I would just go ahead and change the ranking. So I would do this as 2, and then new order as 1. And I would save that. So now it'll be flipped. Now new order will be on top, displayed on top here, because I know I'll use that often. So here it is. So you can change your ranking of how you would like to see your bookmarks displayed.
And again, remember that bookmarks link to a blank data entry page where shortcuts will go to a populated page, like a query.
Exactly. Here, this will also direct you to your shortcuts. And here you can also do the same thing as bookmarks. Here, actually, you can actually change the name of your budget query. So let's say this one is budget query 1 or so. And you'll save that, and actually will change the name of your shortcut. And you can also organize it by actually creating folders as well. Okay. So here, let's change this. So let's say budget query 2, save that. Oh, there we are. Oh, it actually opened up my details here. All right, so that's actually pulled. Okay. All right, so here change the names here. Budget query 1 and budget query 2, make it easier to distinguish which one is the right budget query. Okay, perfect. Again, some of these link strips might change leading up to go live. And again, the right way to sign out is clicking on your link strip arrow down here and signing out. Rachel, were there any more questions?
There were, and many of which, again, I've answered on the phone, or on the chat, I should say. One person asked, is there a list of the document categories within the system that we can reference or in the manual? And the answer to that is yes. When you do a field search, let's say for document category or vendor or even a fund code, you can export that list into Excel and save that locally. If you want to then search for particular ones that are valid for you, that maybe you want to favorite, which again, favorites are links to specific data fields, data values. So I think Tina's going to show us the export feature. So she's going to go into transactions, form doc selection. She's going to click on the document category blue hyperlink. There we go, the document type. And she's going to choose the category of, let's go ahead and do the itemized order again. And now click search. Now over on the right-hand side where her mouse is, there's that little arrow. When you click on that, it will export to Excel or CSV. Either one is fine. They'll both will open up in Excel, and you will then be able to save that locally again to your desktop. There is a limit of, I believe, 1,000 items. So if you try and do an open search just for all document types, you more than likely will exceed the number of available entries. So just keep that in mind. You might need to bring it down smaller before you can download it all. So can shortcuts be accessed across districts like an ad hoc? As long as you have access to all of the different areas, so if the different locations, then you should be able to. Okay. And then there was another question about the differences between favorite, shortcuts, and bookmarks. And the favorite, again, saves a specific data value. A shortcut creates a link to a populated screen, such as a query, and bookmark linked to a blank data page. And last but not least, when will iFAMS be implemented? NCA will be the first administration to go live, and that is currently scheduled for July of 2020. And the other administrations will be going live rolling after that. I believe the next one is VHA. There's Vision 1 as well as VACO of VHA, and then VDA GOE, I believe, is also going live at the same time. So they're all going to be kind of happening together. So does anybody else have any questions? Someone just asked, this system will completely replace CATS, RSD, and FMS. FMS, yes. Once all of the administrations have gone live, I think that that's probably a 5 or 6 year process, maybe as long as 8. I'm not sure currently of the full length of the time. CATS, I'm not 100% sure. I believe so, and I honestly don't know what RSD is. Charles White, are you on the phone? Okay. Yes, it is replacing CATS. Oh, RSD is where you get your reports. Yes, ultimately it will also replace RSD. We have currently some reports that are going to be available straight from iFAMS, and there are some external business intelligence reports that are currently being developed and decided upon. So yes, ultimately the reports, you will get all your reports through iFAMS once you are live on it. Any other questions? Okay, Charles, are you still not here? Charles White? Okay. Again, thank you very much for your time. This video, as well as the PowerPoint slides, will be available on the iFAMS FMBT Pulse page, and there will be a survey sent out from the FMBT training team shortly, and we look forward to getting any feedback, suggestions, and so on that you may be able to provide. We'll stay on the line for about another 10 minutes in case anyone wants to speak to us directly, and otherwise Have a great day.